This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Mapper Forward's first on-demand workshop, How to Become a Coffee Consultant. Available now online for you to learn at your own pace with a certificate available upon completion. Click the link in the show notes to access today for just €50. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and today we're on episode 3 of our 5-part series with Mohamad Merhi. And Mohamad, we are talking about building responsible businesses in the coffee industry and what that's like. So we've talked about the rewarding parts of opening a business, and then we talked about the challenging parts of opening a business. Today, what we're going to talk about is the difference between, or the fine line, I guess, between running a business that is values-based and a business that is profit-based, because you can't have one without the other. And I'm interested to see you being such a values-driven person, and I really identify with that. Mapper Forward is a very values-based business. How do you, employing so many people and being responsible for so many people in your life on a financial level, how do you balance the two? The values and the profit?
Values come before profit.
Okay.
So it starts with values.
Mm-hmm.
And you instill that with the team and with the culture of the company without sacrificing the economic benefit that the company is going to create in order to sustain the value-based business. So basically, it's in certain circumstances, it's a trial and error,
Mm-hmm.
Lee. But it starts with really that feeling that I remember us having a meeting within our company and trying to identify the stakeholders
Mm-hmm.
in relation to Cypher. And I remember reading it in a book one of these days about I left some chairs empty in that meeting, and I got this idea from a book. I didn't come up with this idea, by the way. I'm trying to remember the book that I read, but basically we sat down in a meeting and I left some chairs empty for everyone, and sorry, not for everyone, for the specific stakeholders that are not sitting with us.
Mm-hmm.
So I left a chair for our dear clients who are our partners. I left some chairs empty for the suppliers, and I told them within the meeting, I'm like, guys, think about this guy that's sitting here. And everyone's like looking at the chair like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? What's he talking about? But basically, I wanted to, we wanted to just to keep in mind all the stakeholders involved. How do they feel? And what's the best decision? The decisions we're making, how are they affecting them? Let's take, for example, the suppliers. In certain circumstances, they are coffee producers around the world. And we'd have to make a certain decision in relation to the business. And I would mention to them, what do you think? How is that going to affect the supplier? And what's the best way for us at which we reach a win-win situation with our dear suppliers? And what was mentioned is that clear, transparent communications that will build sustainable relationships. And we've made that decision since the beginning, that we're very clear and transparent with our suppliers. And we've in certain circumstances, after we built a relationship and we developed a track record between us, we would go back and check what do they need in order to improve their business or their livelihood in their certain in where they are, and we start to build it with them. And we have a lot of examples in relation to this, because we believe that there's a lot of talk and the love story, I call it, when it comes to coffee and the relationship between the importers and the producers or the exporters. And I try to steer away from all this, the words that are, and stick to reality, stick to what works for us and you, how we can be sustainable for the long term.
There's a lot of people that are listening to this that are saying, but if I can't make my business profitable, what's the point of having values?
Oh, see, the values are not real. It's like, this is the wrong way to think, I think.
Help us align it.
Again, it starts with values. You set the values for everything. Look, we could have changed our values across the business cycle multiple times, even today. Take into consideration something that you've mentioned in your previous podcast, which is paying commissions to baristas. We don't do that, and we will never do that, because this is not part of our value system. And what examples are we setting if we do that? Okay. Just to as I told you, it starts with values. Everything starts with values, because once you set the principles in place and the values in place, you're aligned with your partners inclusive of your clients, which makes you, at the end of the day, it's the transactions that happen with your dear partners, with the clients, that are going to make you money at the end of the day. So I think, just to answer your question, there's no values. Even if I'm not profitable, I'm not going to change my values. These are my values. These are our values. When others go low, we go high. We stick to it.
This is the way we've chosen to do business, and this is the way that we will navigate the challenging times.
Okay, then why don't you go steal money then?
Exactly.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense for me.
With my consulting clients, and I have clients all over the world, and so it's really fascinating for me to see the relationship that my consulting clients have with the idea of having a values-based business. And there are times when they say, look, I don't understand the point of defining my values or what my vision or my mission is. What's the point? And oftentimes, these are your board of directors. Your values, your vision, and your mission, they are what you're accountable to. And if you take defining them seriously, they are the things that hold you accountable to the decisions that you'll make. And that's why I'm a big advocate for using a values-based business to become profitable. But you define that and your likelihood of becoming profitable through the process of defining your values and your vision and your mission.
100%.
How did you come up with the values for Cypher?
Honestly,
are they based on you?
Yeah.
What are they?
And what I read and what I've, all the things that I have, it's based on what's wrong and right. To be honest with you, it's just very simple. Like it's just what we think is, at the end of the day, you don't want if it happens to you, do you view it as good or bad? And based on that, you start building upon them. Values are, it's an everyday thing. I don't know if you noticed, we have our purpose very clear in multiple locations in Cypher.
Yeah. Oh yeah, everywhere, all over the walls.
Everywhere. So just to remind everyone that this is our purpose. If you make a decision that is only driven due to profitability, and by making that decision, you're hurting the suppliers, or you're hurting the shipping company, or you're hurting the supplier, the clients, then we're not going to make that decision.
That's not the way we do business.
No, that's not the way we do business. As simple as that. And the decision has to be, and again, I go back to the point with the producers. If you read some of our emails, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. Like, we're always extremely transparent. We're like, look, these profiles work because we think they're going to move this country, but at these prices, does that work for you? If that doesn't work for you, let us know. We'll work around it. We want them to always, we're very transparent and clear of why we need these profiles of coffees, or why we need these specific prices. If it works for you, then let's go for it. If it doesn't work for you, then forget it.
That's okay. That's okay. If it
That's
doesn't
okay.
work for you, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
if it
find
doesn't work
another
for you,
opportunity to work together.
exactly. And you can ask multi multiple farmers across the um, coffee producing origins that dealt with us, and I will tell you that.
Yeah. Before we head into the next episode, I want to ask you a question about a business model that I find very interesting here in the Emirates. And this is this, when we talk about values-based businesses, you have people opening businesses here who never actually show up for their business. So they'll start a cafe and then they'll leave it to somebody else to run. What's that business model? Because those models aren't profitable either, right?
Look, it's passive income. Some people think of it as a passive income, but in my point of view, it's not sustainable, that thought process.
I mean, they're vanity projects, right?
Yeah, some are vanity projects, and some are like people think that, okay, I'll open a cafe and I will hire someone to run the business, and I will just, on the side, I will get X amount of money. But they don't and it's usually people who haven't done this mistake previously
Before.
that do it before. So basically they think just, they think it's only tangibles, and they forget about the intangibles in relation to a business. Management, the way you treat people, the way you treat your clients, the way you treat your staff, the way you treat everyone. Love is reciprocated at the end of the day.
I love that.
Yeah. So in a way that I think and it can hurt. The problem is that it hurt other people who are trying to survive. This business pays for their schooling. This business pays for their kids' education. This business goes for the rent of the family. It hurts, It hurts. It hurts. But it's not easy. But you have no control over it, Lee. You can't tell people what to do. And, you can just advise and give your honest opinion. But at the end of the day, it's their choice.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out over time when, like we were talking about, tax is going to be introduced. But these guys aren't making $3 million dirham a year, are they? So they're not going to be affected by that. They're not even coming close to that. I've spoken to baristas who work at cafes like that, and they say, we make 3 beverages a day.
Yeah.
So it's not really consequential. All right. So in the next episode, folks, join us because we're going to talk about the responsibility of building a business as it connects to the supply chain. This is a really interesting way to navigate things because there are so many decisions that you need to make when you decide what your supply chain is. And I feel like in our industry, people tend to just go for what's the easiest option. And they connect that decision-making to price. And I think that we could go beyond that and get a little more intentional about it. So join us in the next episode. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, friends. There are 2 ways you can support this podcast. Firstly, become a paid member of our YouTube channel. Secondly, you can join our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video before you leave, and check the show notes for more information. Now, this is what you should check out next.